Hi, I'm here for Colonial Corner Sports at Morristown High School. Today we're going to have two of our field reporters talk to Coach Hall and Kathleen Perri about two new rules that just entered into consideration. The first being a rule that states that public schools cannot play private schools in football, and the second being that students who transfer to a new high school cannot play within 30 days or in the playoffs of that season. Now let's go to Charlie Brooks with Coach Hall on the matter.
What's your opinion on the possible rule change separating public and private schools for football only starting 2016?
Well, Charlie, that's an excellent question, and it's one that a lot of people are very passionate about, especially in the state of New Jersey. We have an enrollment at Morristown High School, like all other public high schools, that encompasses a certain geographical area. And a lot of other states, the privates, the parochials, have that same situation. If I'm at Bethlehem Catholic in Pennsylvania, I can recruit Bethlehem in different parts. I can't really recruit outside of that. In New Jersey, that's not the case. If I'm a public school or a private school in New Jersey, I can recruit anywhere in the country. There's even some teams, basketball teams, that have players from outside of the country playing on their team, which makes it a little bit of an unfair and uneven situation. I think it's much more prevalent in other parts of the state, like Bergen County and things like that have a much more a much bigger problem with recruiting and public schools losing players to privates and so forth. But I think it evens off the playing field a little bit, and it can be a great thing for New Jersey high school football if it goes that way. So we're just going to go. If they tell us that we're going to play all public schools, we'll play all publics. If they tell us we're going to play all private schools, we'll play all privates.
And what's your opinion on the transfer rule, which would make it so a player would not be able to play for 30 days?
Well, there's two parts to that rule. And the first part is the 30-day sit-out, which has been pretty standard and been happening for a long time. The second part of the rule that they're really voting on is you're out of postseason competition. So if I decide, I don't like it at Morristown and I'm going to transfer to Randolph, I'd have to sit out 30 days, and I wouldn't be allowed to participate in the playoffs if Randolph made it into the playoffs. Again, it's a bigger deal in other parts of the state where student-athletes just jump from one school to the other with no rhyme or reason other than, I'm a point guard on the basketball team and I get benched. Well, I'm going to leave and go to another school, and I can play that afternoon. I don't think that's right. But if I live in Randolph and I want to move to Morristown, I can play right away without penalty. That's the difference in the rule. So I don't think that these are student athletes in high school. They're not free agents. This isn't the NFL. They shouldn't be able to treat programs in such a way. So I think it's going to be a good thing. Again, these are two things that I think are going to improve football and high school football in New Jersey.
Thank you. Now let's send it to Philip Capuzzi with Miss Perri, the athletic director of Morristown High School.
All right, thanks, Charlie. I'm here now with Mrs. Perri, and what's your opinion on the possible separation of public and private schools for football, and also the new transfer rule that would prohibit players from playing 30 days after transferring and also ban them from the playoffs of said year that they transferred?
Thank you. This is a very hot topic. It's been a hot topic for several years, going back as far as 2007, where this rule lost by 8 votes at the state athletic directors meeting. I feel that this is a great idea. I feel that private schools have an extremely unfair advantage with the recruiting process. They are relentless with recruiting 8th graders, and it's against the bylaws. So I think something needs to be done about this. It is totally out of control. I really do hope that this passes. I think it'll send a message out to all the people that are doing this that this is not right. And I think it's 50-50 right now with respect to how everybody's going to vote for this, but I certainly would be in support of this rule. We've had our own problems here with our own people being recruited, and something needs to be done about this because it's getting worse.
Okay, and your opinion on the transfer rule?
The transfer rule is definitely on the fast track. They are looking to get this together for the fall of 2015. My concern as an athletic director is that these rules are getting more and more complex, and we just keep going down the rabbit hole with all these rules. And right now, it's very hard for parents and kids to understand what the rules are. And with this new idea of choice school versus closed school versus open school, it's a lot for people to comprehend. There's going to have to be some educational process with everybody so they understand the rules. But I also think that something needs to be in place because kids are shopping around for high schools, and it's not just for freshman year. They're at one high school as a freshman, and then they're moving to another one as a 10th grader. And by the time they're graduating, they could have been at 3 high schools. So playing musical high schools is not ethical, and something needs to be done. But this seems a little complex to me, but I'm going to have an open mind to see how they're going to move forward with this.
Okay, thank you to both Kathleen Perri and Coach Hull for their opinions on the both possible rule changes of the separation of public and private schools and the possible transfer rule. That's going to be it for us here at Colonial Corner Sports. Thanks a lot.